Hello students, welcome to the ongoing series on international business. Today we will discuss balance of payment account and this is part 3. I am Professor Soma Sen Gupta, Kamla Nehru College, University of Delhi. In this lecture we are going to discuss the components of the balance of payment account. We will continue with that, errors and omissions, official reserves account. First, a quick recap of balance of payment account, what we have studied in our last 2 lectures. When we talk about the meaning of balance of payment account, it is a statement that summarizes the country's economic transactions with other countries of the world during a specific time period. And there are different flows in balance of payment account. Inflow of foreign exchange, like when we are exporting goods and we are getting the payment in foreign exchange, it will have a positive entry or we can say credit. Outflow of foreign exchange, when we are importing certain commodities and we are making payments, one of the example of that, then it is a negative entry or debit entry. There is a difference between the two terms balance of trade and balance of payment. The balance of trade is narrower concept, so it is narrower in scope also. So, BOT is the difference between the monetary value of a nation's exports and imports of goods over a certain time period. So, here we are talking only about the goods. BOT does not include the export and import of invisible items or services like banking, insurance, etc. While BOP takes into account the export and imports of both visible, that is goods, and invisible, that is service items. Then we have discussed certain components of balance of payment account. Based on the type of transactions, balance of payment sub-accounts are as follows: current account, capital account, unilateral payment accounts, statistical errors and discrepancies, official reserves or assets account. So, this was the whole of the format of balance of payment account that we have discussed in our previous lecture. So, there is current account, then capital account and then official settlement account, and finally errors and omissions are also taken care of. So, there is a credit side and debit side. Now, we have discussed the current account and which consists of visible or merchandise exports and imports, invisible or service exports and imports, factor income, and unilateral transactions are made part of capital account only. Current account only. A deficit in the current account is to be met by either of the following: borrowings from the foreigners or selling of past foreign investments. Then the second part is capital account, which we have discussed. So, the capital account records all international economic transactions relating to investment in or withdrawal from financial assets and real assets or real estate. Capital account is divided in 3 parts. Private capital is also considered, the banking capital as well as the official capital kept with the central bank. Like in our country, it is Reserve Bank of India. Beside that, foreign direct investment and portfolio investment is also part of capital account. Based on the above, capital account flows can be of 2 types: accommodating capital flows and autonomous capital flows. So, till this portion we have discussed. So, it was a quick recap of whatever we have studied till now. Now comes the third component of the balance of payment account, which we will discuss in detail, and that is errors and omissions. Now, this is an item in the balance of payment statement which is also known as statistical discrepancy and is considered while arriving at the overall balance. Now, the statistical discrepancy in the balance of payment arises due to the different reasons, and the main reasons are difficulty in data collection, lead or lag transactions, estimates, unrecorded illegal transactions. So, we will discuss each one of them one by one. The first one is difficulty in data collection. Now, you know that data for the balance of payment statement is collected from different sources, and these sources differ in their approach of data compilation. So, it might be possible that consistency is not there while collecting data from different sources. So, this will lead to some kind of statistical discrepancy. Statistics from different sources vary, resulting in statistical discrepancy in the balance of payment statement. Then the second reason for errors and omissions may be lead or lag transactions. So, what is lead and lag transaction? This happens in domestic trade as well as in international trade. So, movement of foreign exchange may lead or lag the transactions that they are financing. So, we are concerned about the foreign exchange transaction, whether lead and lag in happening of an event and recording of the event is happening or not. That will lead to statistical discrepancy. So, suppose goods are shipped in March 2024 and payment for them is received in April 2025. So, you can see there are two different financial year we are talking about. One is the 23-24 when the goods are shipped, and another is 24-25 when the payment has been received. The sent shipment will be recorded in the financial year ending 31st March 2024. However, the payment for it shall be recorded in the following financial year ending 31st March 2025. So, there is a lead and lag effect of two financial years or two previous years. So, this difference leads to statistical discrepancy in the balance of payment statement, and we have to take care of these errors and omissions while we are preparing the balance of payment account. The another error and omission cause may be estimates. Most of the time, whatever statistical data we are gathering on the basis of estimates also. That might not be the real data. So, the BOP statement uses estimates to arrive at certain figures relating to travel, tourism, etc., for which exact amounts are difficult to ascertain. So, how will you find out how many foreign tourists have arrived in our country? That you can find out, but how much they have actually spent in our country, that is difficult to measure. So, we go by some estimates. So, estimates might not be 100% accurate. So, estimates are based on samples. If the sample chosen is defective, statistical discrepancy is bound to arise. So, it might be possible that the population we are studying, that is the foreign tourists, and the sample of tourists that we are studying might not match. So, this will lead to statistical discrepancy. Then the last reason for errors and omission are unrecorded illegal transactions. Now, you know that there is a whole black economy in our country and in many countries, and those transactions are not recorded. More so when we are talking about foreign exchange transfers, there may be illegal transactions, and that goes unrecorded. So, illegal transactions such as the drug trade and illicit financial flows are by their nature unrecorded and contribute to the statistical discrepancy. A larger error and omission figure can indicate significant undetected economic activity and is often negatively correlated with the country's transparency. So, if in a country there is lots of illegal transaction happening which goes unrecorded, then the country's transparency is questionable. Now, there may be certain examples of unrecorded or concealed transactions. One of them is capital flight. So, there may be capital flight because of outflow of capital from a country due to political or economic instability. Payments may be made deliberately concealed to hide the funds and their origins. In all such cases, this is an example of unrecorded transaction. So, this will cause error and omission. Another example may be trade misinvoicing. The deliberate manipulation of the value or volume of imports and exports to evade taxes or exploit discrepancies in data collection is another reason, or it may lead to unrecorded transaction or less recorded transaction, and this is again a cause of error and omission. So, the value or volume of the imports may be deliberately shown as less than what it actually is. Then comes another item of balance of payment, and that is overall balance of all these discrepancies. So, on the basis of these statistical discrepancy, we can find out the overall balance. Once statistical discrepancy is identified, the overall balance can be arrived at. The balancing between all credits and debits in different accounts like current account, capital account and the statistical discrepancies represent the overall balance. If the overall balance is in surplus, the surplus amount is used to repay borrowings from the IMF, and the balance, if any, is carried to the official reserves account. So, this is a positive signal for analyzing the BOP account, because there is surplus. So, surplus is not only used for repaying the borrowings, but also if any thing is left, that is added to the official reserves account. So, official reserve account will increase because of this adding of the surplus. Then the reverse may also happen, that is if the overall balance is in deficit. The monetary authorities of the country arrange for capital flows from different means. So, there will be borrowings from say IMF, and also the official reserve account will deplete or it will show a decrease. So, the capital flows are arranged from drawings from IMF, official borrowings, or by bringing down the foreign exchange reserves to make good the deficit in a country, and so on. Now, let us discuss the official reserves account. We said that if there is a surplus after payment of all the borrowings, then that will add to the official reserve account, and if there is a deficit, then naturally the official reserve account will show a decrease in the amount. So, the official reserves account, what is it? It is a record. It records monetary gold, special drawing rights or SDR allocations to a country by the IMF, and the foreign currency assets held by the monetary authorities of a country. So, if these are positive, then the official reserve account will increase. If the overall balance of payment is in surplus, so as we have discussed in the previous section, the surplus gets added to the official reserves account. If the overall BOP is in deficit, the official reserve account gets reduced by the deficit amount if accumulating capital flows are unavailable. So, all the adjustments will take place, and as such the official reserve account will either increase or decrease. So, the question is what is then reserve asset and how it is valued. So, the US dollar has been the leading reserve asset since the end of the gold standard. So, this is the currency or other store of value that is primarily used by nations for their foreign reserves. So, foreign reserves of a country, they used to be measured in US dollar. Now, a little bit of changes have taken place in different countries, but still US dollar is a popular measure of valuing the foreign reserves of any country. Now, the BOP imbalances take place as reserve asset is being accumulated by surplus countries, with deficit countries building debts in the reserve account or by depleting their supply. So, this may happen that the surplus countries are adding to their reserve account, and the less developed countries or deficit countries will show a depletion of the reserve asset. Now, in the Bretton Woods system, either gold or the US dollar could serve as a reserve asset. But with the end of Bretton Woods, the US dollar has remained the principal de facto reserve for a long period of time. As of 2009, some changes can be seen, like approximately 65% of the world's $6,800 billion total is held in US dollars and approximately 25% in euros, rest in UK pound, Japanese yen, IMF SDRs and precious metals. So, US dollar is not the only measure. There are other currencies, and then SDR and precious metal are also there to value the reserve, foreign reserve account or assets. Now, the final portion that we have discussed, since we have discussed the components, we can see the format of a balance of payment account in real terms. So, suppose we take the balance of payment for India as per IMF for financial year 2023-24, and if I am here showing only in US $1,000 million, but it can be shown in rupee also, and this data was taken from this India budget, and I have mentioned the source also. Economic survey result shows this picture for the financial year 2023-24. So, I have divided it into many parts for better explanation, but this is one simple table which covers all the items, all the 10 items. So, the first item is import, which is showing 686 in $1,000 million terms. Then export is 441. The difference is the trade balance, which is negative, and that is 245. Okay, so the positives are less and the negatives are more, hence the trade balance is showing negative figure. If we talk about, that was the goods portion. Now, invisibles, that is services portion, receipts are 501, payments are 282. So, there is a net positive result, that is 290. So, if we add up both the account, that is on account of goods as well as on account of invisibles, 3 and 4 item, then we still have a negative balance, that is minus 26. Then come to the capital account. It has different components. The first is foreign investment, which is a total of FDI and FPI. So, it is 54. Then there is loans 6.7, then banking 40.5, then rupee debt service minus 0.1, other capital minus 11.8, errors and omissions 0.3, and the total capital is 89.8. So, overall balance of both the items is 63.7. Now, monetary movements will also happen, but here in this year we are showing IMF transaction net 0, neither we have paid the debts or we have taken the drawings. So, increase or decrease in reserve plus and minus is shown is minus 63.7. So, the total reserve movement is showing a negative figure of 63.7. So, this is how we present the balance of payment account. Then last portion of this lecture is balance of payment crisis, which may happen from time to time. A BOP crisis, also called a currency crisis, occurs when a nation is unable to pay for essential imports or service its external debt repayments. So, there is a currency crisis, and because of that you are unable to pay the debts. This is accompanied by a rapid decline in the value of the affected nation's currency. So, value of that nation's currency will devalue or decline. So, crises are generally preceded by large capital inflows, which are associated at first with rapid economic growth. However, a point is reached where overseas investors become concerned about the level of debt their inbound capital is generating and decide to pull out their funds. So, this will further aggregate the impact because the foreign investors are pulling out their debt. So, this will further the balance of payment crisis or currency crisis. The resulting outbound capital flows are associated with a rapid drop in the value of the affected nation's currency. This affects the firms of that nation who have received the inbound investments and loans. Once the nation's government has exhausted its foreign reserves trying to support the value of the domestic currency, it can only raise its interest rate to try to prevent further decline. So, that country will take measures to better the situation or do away with the currency crisis situation. It generally further depresses the local economy. The lower income countries are more exposed to suffer this type of crisis. So, nowadays whenever there is a recession in one country, it moves to other countries and that leads to balance of payment crisis also, especially in countries with deficit balance of payment. Let us summarize whatever we have studied in this lecture. Errors and omissions are an item in the balance of payment statement which is also known as statistical discrepancy. Now, whatever statistical discrepancies takes place, we have to take care of that while preparing the final figures for balance of payment. Now, this arises due to difficulty in data collection, lead or lag transactions, estimates and unrecorded illegal transactions. Now, because of all these reasons, what will we find? We find that there is a statistical discrepancy, whatever we are recording might not be the actual situation. The balancing between all credits and debits in the current account, capital account and statistical discrepancies represent the overall balance. So, we will balance all the accounts, the current account, capital account and statistical discrepancy, and then we will find the overall balance. So, there can be surplus or deficit. So, surplus overall balance is used to repay borrowings from the IMF and the balance is carried to the official reserves account. So, official reserve account will increase because of adding of this surplus. If the overall balance is in deficit, the monetary authorities of the country arrange for capital flows via drawings from the IMF or official borrowings or by bringing down the foreign exchange reserve. So, this will reduce the foreign exchange reserve. The official reserves account record monetary gold, SDR allocations to a country by the IMF and the foreign currency assets held by the monetary authorities of a country. Surplus balance of payment gets added to the official reserves account and vice versa, that means deficit balance of payment is deducted from the official reserves account. Also, we have discussed the format of the balance of payment account showing the current account and then the capital account and then all errors and omissions. Finally, the official reserve account is shown. We have also discussed the currency crisis which may take place when there is a BOP crisis or BOP deficit, balance of payment deficit is there. I hope you have understood whatever we have discussed in this lecture. Thank you students. These are certain references which you can go through. C.B. Gupta's book is there, S. Verma's book is there, and also there are many material available on the internet. Thank you very much students.